on the road in Houston, taking on the CJ Stroud-less Texans. Davis Mills will be making his fourth consecutive start. Buffalo's currently favored by 5.5 with the point total set at 44.5. And other big NFL news, Joe Burrow is doing a full practice today. He is on track to possibly play Sunday for the first time in a couple months against the New England Patriots. Need HVAC. This month gets 0% for 18 months on a new system. Schedule your free proposal at AndersonPHA.com. Anderson, fast and reliable.
Oh, let's get it going on a Thursday. What's going on, everybody? Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over. Then we got a busy one coming up today. Darren Smith going to be jumping on the show live from SDFC practice today. They got some big question marks surrounding the team heading into Monday's match against Minnesota. We'll try to get some answers coming up with Darren Smith at some point over the next 2 hours. We also have a 4-pack of tickets to give away for SeaWorld San Diego to celebrate their Christmas celebration. We have a pair of tickets for San Diego State versus San Jose State at Snapdragon Stadium on Saturday night. And hopefully not another rain game for the Aztecs, even though, what the hell, Sammy Long? Rain's coming back in. Did you say downpour? Did I hear you say the words downpour?
What?
Did you say downpour?
I heard on the news it's supposed to be like really rainy. Like this might be.
Was it San Diego news?
No, it was LA news, but they said it was moving down to San Diego.
Oh, we're in trouble, gang. We should probably start building that arc. It'll probably be like a half inch over the next few days, but there is more rain coming. And San Diego State, they have just not had good luck when it comes to the weather this year so far for football games. The downpour in Hawaii, and then 3 separate spurts of just like the heavens opening up and buckets falling down against Boise State. We'll see if there's another rain game coming up on Saturday night, but it sounds like it's going to be out of there for the most part by then. But busy day. Bills, Texans tonight. One of my favorite lines I've ever heard Sammy Long say in our entire time working together happened about 5 minutes before the show. We were talking about this game and some different matchups and the potentiality of Khalil Shakir, who's one of the few Buffalo Bills wide receivers who seems to have a really good connection with Josh Allen, potentially missing this game tonight after welcoming in the birth of his daughter, Sonny Shakir. And Sammy said, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but this is the only time in my life I'm ever going to root for the dumbass Bills. And Sammy would be right, because the Houston Texans are currently 5-5. The Kansas City Chiefs are 5-5. There's one other. Who else is 5-5?
The Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore Ravens are 5-5. All 3 of those teams ain't making the postseason. So tonight, is Sammy waving a Josh Allen flag?
I'm rooting for the Bills tonight. It makes me
bumping some Haley Steinfeld music on your way home from work.
It makes me nauseous. I'm not gonna lie. I've never, literally not once rooted for that team.
Head over your DVD player, pop in Pitch Perfect 2, and just be cheering along as Miss Haley.
Well, you know what's gonna
happen
is because I need them to win tonight. They're going to lose. Like it's 100% going to happen. The one time I actually need them to come through, kind of like the Cincinnati Bengals in our circa pick. I've never rooted for that team.
Still heartbroken.
Of course, the Jets, Justin Fields somehow scores 39, 40 points.
Who's now been benched, by the way.
Now been benched. I mean, he had one big time performance to end his career as a starting quarterback, and it happened against our circa pick. So yeah, I think this is actually, like, in all seriousness, going to be a fun Thursday night football game tonight, because I think it's pretty evenly matched. It's a bummer that Stroud's not going. It'd be kind of fun to see CJ Stroud going up against some top tier competition, but hopefully this one's not a clunker tonight.
Yeah, so Buffalo's had a weird season. Like, they're 7-3. Buffalo's having a good year. I think we all could have seen 7-3 on Buffalo's record as we head into week 12 and been like, oh yeah, that makes sense. The Buffalo Bills should be about 7-3. But the way they've gotten there has been bizarre, and it hasn't necessarily looked great at times. They're kind of the Eagles of the AFC so far this year. But Josh Allen's been good. He's working his way up the MVP odds list after having another 3 passing touchdown, 3 rushing touchdown performance. The only quarterback in history to have multiple of those throughout his career. So Josh Allen is on his way to another one of those seasons, and the Bills are good, but it doesn't exactly look good. And some of the ways they're winning games are confusing. It doesn't feel like they have a good wide receiver room. The defense has been so-so. So you go into a game like tonight and you think these two teams are on different tiers. I don't know that they necessarily are. The Texans, with CJ Stroud out, have actually been playing some pretty good ball behind Davis Mills. And the Buffalo Bills seem like they can be had a little more this year than in years past. So I also would think tonight's going to be a good game, which means most likely we're going to be getting a blowout.
Well, I'm curious to see. what happened last Sunday with the Bills against Tampa Bay, we know can always happen. When Josh Allen has 6 touchdowns, and that's why he's so good, is he can do that at any time. And James Cook is a fantastic running back who's elevated himself into that top 10, top 5 running back in the league conversation. The question is kind of what you touched on, is can the weapons, because the Bills told you they didn't value their weapons as much because they were calling on Chris Olave, they were calling on Jalen Waddle, they were trying to get receivers.
One of those might have been a Super Bowl losing decision. Bringing in someone like that.
If you put Jalen Waddle on that team, so you give Allen a number 1 receiver, then you have your Shakirs, your Colemans when he's back, guys like that are complementary pieces but are tough to deal with. It's hard to envision Khalil Shakir or Keon Coleman being the number 1 on a Super Bowl winning team. It's just it feels tough to imagine that when the competition stiffens in the playoffs. But Houston's got a great pass rush. They have one of the best defenses in the NFL. They just don't get talked about a lot because the offense has been so dreadful to start the season. And Davis Mills has quietly been all right the last 3 games. He's had a decent QBR on that big win against Jacksonville. So I'm curious to see how if the Buffalo offense, the supporting cast besides James Cook and Josh Allen, can get it done tonight and put up some big offensive numbers.
It is crazy because 2 years ago, like Josh Allen, Diggs was on the team, but Gabe Davis often was outperforming Stephon Diggs. Now, Gabe Davis had that horrific knee injury a year ago. He's not the same guy anymore. He is back with Buffalo, but I think he's on their practice squad now. But Josh Allen can turn nothing into something, but it feels like if you would have gotten him a Waddle or an Olave, this offense all of a sudden becomes terrifying. And maybe the Bills, this would have been their year. I don't know that you can say that comfortably right now. I got a few teams ahead of them who I envision winning the Super Bowl before they do. But with that, we'll see about tonight. What's the betting line on tonight's game, Sammy?
5.5 point favorites, Buffalo on the road.
That feels about right.
Totals kind of lower. It's at 44.5. I think that's a lot to do with the defense of the
Houston's
Texans.
Defense is fantastic. D'Amico Ryans has it absolutely cooking this year. All right, let's get to the big 3 of hour number 1. We'll get back to this game coming up in hour number 2. Darren Smith is going to be joining the show. There is a bizarre story out of Philadelphia that we're going to get to in just a little bit. But first, the big 3, where Sammy rips us through the top stories in the world of sports. Sammy, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
You want to watch the show? A couple ways for you to do so: on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760. We love to read your comments there, and on X at Fletch and Sammy. Text line is open 70470. Start your message with team, and as always, find us on the free iHeartRadio app. Add our station to your presets. Sammy and I still have not gotten that steak dinner that was promised. So enough of you must not have gone over there and clicked that little plus button.
Or Mary just keeps dragging out the number, our program director, and will not buy us the steak dinner that we so much deserve.
Yeah, we should have gotten what that number was in advance. It might be up in the millions, and it's like, come on, Mary, we're doing as much as we can.
We're trying out here.
We've really been stuck at 900,000. I'm sorry. All right, Sammy, where are we going?
Let's go to the NFL. Joe Burrow back at practice today. Been practicing a little bit this week, 2nd day in a row. They originally thought he was going to be returning next week against the Baltimore Ravens on Thanksgiving. Looking like he'll be making his return against the New England Patriots on Sunday. Number 1, what do you think the Bengals' playoff chances are in that division? Do you think they can make the playoffs despite having a bad defense? And number 2, do you like them bringing them back despite the record and the lack of an offensive line?
Look, there's been just chaos in the AFC North this year, and that is the only reason in my mind that Joe Burrow is coming back at all this season. If the Ravens had started off a little better and Lamar Jackson didn't miss a few weeks, Joe Burrow doesn't come back this year. If the Steelers just continued on the pace that they were on, Joe Burrow would not be coming back this year. But there is light at the end of the tunnel, and with Joe Burrow, this Bengals team that is more than capable of putting up 45 points with Joe Flacco as their quarterback, all of a sudden you have to put the Bengals back in the conversation. What are they? They're like 3 games back of the Steelers right now?
They're 3-7. The Steelers are 6-4, and the Ravens are 5-5.
Like, you can make that up. So, I would get Joe Burrow back as quick as possible, too.
Now, so looking at the Bengals' schedule, it's actually interesting. At the end of the year, it kind of opens up. You have the Patriots, which is brutal. That they're still 6-point favorite, despite it looking like Joe Burrow is going to play. Then you have Baltimore on Thanksgiving. That's a must win. You have Buffalo. Then you have Baltimore again. But then you have Miami, Arizona, and Cleveland. So you have an end stretch there.
If you sweep Baltimore, playoffs are absolutely in play.
And then, like, Baltimore should be the favorite out of this division because, like, looking at the Steelers' schedule, you got the Bears, Bills, Ravens, Dolphins, Lions, Browns, Ravens, or Steelers. Ravens. But that's a tough schedule, especially with the fact that Aaron Rodgers dealing with that hand injury. They're thinking he's trending toward playing Sunday against the Bears, but I mean, he is on the older side of things. Obviously, not a good time this season to be dealing with that. Listen, I get them bringing him back. You have to. It's Joe Burrow. It's the franchise. You're basically punting on the season if you say he's not coming back. I think there's some missed opportunities like that Jets game that they're going to look back on and go, a couple games they probably should have won that would have them in a better position. But you do, if you're a Bengal fan, you do sit there and worry a little bit in the sense of the defense is terrible. They're going to have to score a gazillion points just like last year.
And it's not like they made a big trade for an offensive lineman.
That's the more concerning one. It's Flacco and them have been getting pummeled. Like they're getting destroyed back there. Joe Burrow, injury in college, injury his first year in the pros, injury last year, this year. Like Joe Burrow's injuries are stacking up, and it's a testament to how much of a dog, I guess, Joe Burrow is, that he stands in the pocket and gets crushed for his entire Bengal career and still is leading MVP charges and in the big-time quarterback that we know he is. But, like, Joe Burrow at some point, like, if you're the Bengals, this is your franchise, and you get a little worried that this guy at some point, how many injuries can he take? Hopefully nothing happens to him. But, listen, the Bengals are a live dog, but they got to certainly win out here. And get after it.
It is crazy. Joe Burrow does hold on to the football too long. I've seen a couple of different websites break down why Joe Flacco hasn't been getting sacked nearly as much as Joe Burrow does. And it's simply because Joe Burrow will try to extend plays and open himself up to those injuries. I would assume that if Cincinnati's bringing him back, someone has to have that conversation with him. Like, look, take the short slant. It's right there.
Get
Joe
the ball
Flacco
out of your hands.
Is scoring 45 points by throwing the ball 5 yards down the field to Jamar Chase every time. You can do the same thing.
It's funny how he's the one good young pocket passer in the league. He's a little mobile. He can be mobile at times, but he's not Lamar, Allen, Mahomes, anything like that. It's interesting. Like, those guys are able to avoid so many hits. It was always thought of that guys who ran would take more hits, but it's funny. Lamar Jackson doesn't take hits.
Right.
Like, Lamar just gets down. It's almost like
non-contact injuries to worry about, though.
Yeah, that's very true. Let's stick with the NFL, but go to college football. Fernando Mendoza out of Indiana, expected to be the number 1 overall pick. They were raving about him on a podcast. Urban Meyer was breaking down film from his game against Oregon, all over him. Scouts saying he's the surefire number 1 pick. Where should he want to go? You have the Raiders in the contention. You have the Jets in contention. Obviously, the Bengals record's not good, but they're not going to be going to get him. Miami possibly winning a few games. Where should he want to go?
If he's picking and choosing where he wants. Look, I actually do like the Jets coaching staff. I hate the Jets' history of quarterbacks, and I hate how they develop quarterbacks. If you're honestly looking at that list,
Tennessee, Cleveland,
not Tennessee. Tennessee's
New
going
Orleans.
to give Cam Ward one more shot, and you don't want to be a part of that in this sort of the rebuild. The closest team might actually be the Jets. Look, with the pieces they held on to, with the draft picks that they have because of the pieces they got rid of, the Jets might be where I would want to land, but it would be very hesitant in doing so. I'll tell you where he should want to land. You ready for this? Dark horse candidate.
Let's hear it.
The Los Angeles Rams. The Los Angeles Rams own the Atlanta Falcons first-round pick this year as well as their own. Would there be a team where they could package both of those picks to move up, maybe to 1 or 2 in the draft, depending on who's at 1? It might not be a team who wants a quarterback, and be able to steal him.
That's interesting.
Did I just break your mind?
The problem with that, though, is do you have an Aaron Rodgers situation where Stafford's 37, but
we thought Stafford was retiring last year.
Yes, but he's playing like an MVP this year. So it's kind of hard if the Rams, which should be, I think, in my estimation, the favorite to win the Super Bowl right now, if they go win a Super Bowl, so Mendoza for the next 2-3 years just sitting there in his entire rookie contract. But I like
that'd be good for him personally.
I like for him. I think that's the best one, and I get where your head's at. If you're a Rams fan, I think that would be a smart.
Did you hear what Colin said about Dante Moore today, the Oregon quarterback?
What, because he's 20, but he's really good. But
he's sticking at Oregon because they can pay him $5 million next year.
Well, and Dante Moore, if he comes back this next year, could be the number 1 overall pick. He's not going to be the number 1 overall pick against. We'll see how he does against SC. Big matchup this weekend up there in Eugene. I would go to the Raiders. I know that sounds crazy. I know that sounds, what has the Raiders done to warrant good quarterback play? But look what the Raiders do have. You have an elite young tight end in Brock Bowers. You have a star running back in Ashton Jency. You have some young talent on the outsides. Pete Carroll, I still believe in. I know we got into Chip Kelly yesterday. I would not have Chip Kelly there as the offensive coordinator. But you go there and you go, Pete Carroll has developed quarterbacks over the years. Like, the Raiders have some pieces where if they got a guy in place, they could be somewhat fun next year. Not a big time contending team, but Mendoza going to Vegas. New York is interesting, but you always got to deal about the bright lights. He plays at Indiana. You're going to New York. I mean, the harshest media that there is. Could be a little bit rough for him, but I like your thing to the Rams. All right, let's head to the NBA real quick. So, big news: the Golden State and Jonathan Kuminga storyline just never ends.
I saw that. Like Jimmy Butler's now taking him under his wing. What's happening here?
So Kuminga signs the deal, the 2-year contract with a lot of trade outs in it. It's a very tradable contract. But per ESPN, so he got benched the other night. Kuminga feels like a quote scapegoat after the benching. How far can Golden State go without him if they're not going to utilize Jonathan Kuminga?
Sammy, you played high school ball, right? High school basketball?
Yeah. I mean, I rode the bench, but yeah, I did play.
Okay, well, then you might be the example, actually. But there is always one person on your team when you're playing that the coaches just don't like, but they keep him around. And we had that guy on my high school team. He was probably more talented than a lot of the guys who started, but he ended up on the bench the entire time because he simply wasn't likable. Is there a chance that Kuminga, while ridiculously talented and has a lot of potential in this league, obviously it hasn't worked with Steve Kerr. Obviously there's something there that we probably don't know about, and we know a lot about it, that Steve Kerr doesn't like him. But there's a chance, like, this relationship will just never work. I don't know why it's extended. I don't know why they gave him the additional contract. But is this going to be a piece at the trade deadline that can move? He needs a fresh start somewhere else.
It does feel like it's like a divorce for both sides. It is. He's too talented to let walk. Because you're going to let Kuminga walk for this. I mean, this is a guy who, when Curry went down, was going off against Minnesota in the playoffs last year. They just didn't have enough around him with Steph Curry out. It is odd, though. To your point, maybe it's a character thing. Steve Kerr is obviously a great head coach in this league and won many rings.
But are we all convinced that he's like a super nice guy?
But
Steve Kerr seems like kind of a jerk.
You don't like Steve Kerr?
No.
But they like Jonathan Kuminga. Look at your team. Jimmy Butler, old. Steph Curry, old. Draymond Green, old. You thought Jonathan Kuminga was going to be the guy that could kind of supplant these guys when they're done. And there's not a lot of interest in developing him. I think it's the best for both parties to get him out of town. I do think this takes a massive hit to their finals chances, because I think if they're fully healthy, they're a tough out for anybody, including Oklahoma City. But you need Kuminga and his defense and scoring off the bench. And if they're not going to get it solved, I see them being a first or second round exit.
Or they package a ridiculous trade package and go get Giannis to add to this team, and then it's chaos.
That's interesting.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here. We got some Aztecs football tickets for you on the other side. D. Smith expected to be joining the show this hour. We'll see if that happens as well. It is San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. And how about this? There is quarterback issues in Philadelphia. We got a lot of Eagles fans on this show every single day. We'll tell you about it coming up next live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego FC's Season of Giving campaign is expanding its holiday efforts with One City, One Table, a program supporting families across the region during this critical time of the year. To kick off the campaign, SDFC is donating 18,000 meals, equivalent to a $9,000 contribution to the Jacobs and Cushman San Diego Food Bank. SDFC fans can drop off non-perishable food items at the 18 Threads, the club's official retail store in the Mission Valley Center, to support the food bank's holiday blood drive. Fans coming to Monday's playoff game can also donate items at any stadium entrance. For more information, go to sandiegofc.com/food drive. It does sound like some good news was reported out of SDFC's training or practice they had earlier today. We'll get all of it with Darren Smith coming up at 12:30. All right, Sammy, out in Philadelphia. I don't know if you saw this. Derek Gunn of The Athletic and Diana Rossini had a story that they put out about from an anonymous source saying there's a growing frustration in Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts, the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, saying he has a tendency to kind of do his own thing and not go along with whatever play was called and not go along with what the team was trying to do. And so Jalen Hurts was asked about this. Of course, he kind of brushed it off, did the very quarterbackial answer. And then Jordan Mailata, who's one of the offensive linemen, was asked about it. He said, it's kind of crazy that someone from inside the organization would do that. But then again, we ain't got to worry about that. Tell you what I'm going to worry about, doing my damn job. We got enough problems there. So Jordan Mailata didn't exactly deny that this report was accurate. All he said was it's kind of crazy that someone would say it. But Jalen Hurts, man, what else does this guy have to do before people in his own organization stop talking about him?
I got to give Jalen Hurts a lot of credit. Like with his composure at the press conferences,
he did such a good job with it.
I mean, all this guy, I think it comes. You made this point for the show, and it kind of comes from composure about the fact that national championship game. You talk about being humbled. He takes Alabama to the national championship game.
Weren't they undefeated?
Undefeated, unbelievable. Gets benched at halftime. Tua comes in, lights are on fire. They win it. Tua gets the job. Jalen Hurts ends up transferring to Oklahoma. This is a guy who wasn't a top pick. A lot of people thought they didn't believe in him his first year. They're like, he's kind of a runner. He doesn't have a great arm. All this guy has done is went to 2 Super Bowls, played really well in both Super Bowls against the Chiefs, and won one of them.
500 yards in the first one, the one that he lost. He outplayed Patrick Mahomes in that game.
So, I mean, they like, I don't understand what this guy has to do to gain respect from his own teammates. It's so obvious. It's AJ Brown. There are reports that it was Devontae Smith before, but now Devontae Smith's getting his touches. I mean, this is what goes back to why I don't believe in Nick Sirianni. This would not be happening with Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan, Mike Tomlin. Like, this is Jim Harbaugh. This is the kind of stuff that wouldn't be getting out. It would be like, we handle this in the locker room. We're going to have a face-to-face talk and this is over. And yet Jalen Hurts is getting questions from everyone because the receivers are pissed off. They're not getting the ball enough. I mean, it feels like they're back in college. And I don't know if I've ever seen more drama with an 8-2 team than in the last week, went on the road and beat Green Bay on Monday Night Football, and then at home beat the Detroit Lions.
And you got AJ Brown on Twitch streams talking about drop me from your fantasy football teams. You got this report coming out from inside the Eagles organization. It's crazy, man. There's never been a more dramatic 8-2 football team. And what's crazy about it is a couple months ago, we had Eitan Shander on our show, who's a Philadelphia Eagles insider. And he's talking about the fact that, look, Nick Sirianni's entire job with the Eagles is just to keep people happy. He doesn't really have that much of an impact on the offense. He doesn't have that much of an impact on the defense. His job is to kind of be Switzerland in all of this and make sure that everyone is copacetic and everyone gets along well with the media. Well, guess what, Nick Sirianni, you're doing a terrible job with it. There's leaks all over your organization, and we know that the Philadelphia Eagles have one of the best GMs in all of football in Howie Roseman.
Completely.
So how does Nick Sirianni keep effing this up?
You think Jalen Hurts is pissed that they didn't trade AJ Brown? You would think that they would want to keep their star receiver, but at some point, you're Jalen Hurts. Like, we're winning games. It's ugly. It doesn't look great, but we're winning games against good teams at the end of the day. And then I got this fool on live streams causing problems for me at the presser the next day. Like,
what if this is Nick Sirianni's report saying we had it scripted out for AJ Brown to get 10 touches in this game and Jalen Hurts didn't throw it to him once?
You know what was interesting too? A report that came out last week before the Sunday night game. Jeffrey Lurie was in the Eagles organization, had a sit down meeting with AJ Brown, not Nick Sirianni. Jeffrey Lurie. that just shows you the kind of power that the head coach has. Nick Sirianni is propped up by the fact that Howie Roseman is the best GM in football.
Congratulations for coming up with the tush push, if that was even you. All right, quick break here. On the other side, Darren Smith is going to be joining us. The latest from SDFC on the other side. We'll get his thoughts on the Padres drama this offseason as well. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. We got the NFL Thursday Night Football tonight, 5:15. Bills on the road taking on the 5-5 Houston Texans. CJ Stroud will not be playing. He has missed the last 3 games with a concussion. Buffalo is currently 5.5-point road favorite with the point total set at 44.5. And good news for Bengals fans, Joe Burrow is a full practice today. They're expecting him to make his return after missing the last 2 months Sunday against New England. Need HVAC this month, get 0% for 18 months on a new system. Schedule your free proposal at AndersonPHA.com. Anderson, fast and reliable.
San Diego Sports 760. We are your home for SDFC here in San Diego. We just told you about their Season of Giving campaign. If you're heading to the game, the match on Monday night for the postseason, you can bring food items to donate to the Jacobs and Cushman San Diego Food Bank alongside SDFC. With that, we bring on Darren Smith, who's on the broadcast for most of our SDFC games. And D. Smith, let's start there, actually. Did you know that you had play-by-play in your arsenal of weapons?
I don't know that I would consider that one of my weapons in the arsenal, but when called upon, just due to the circumstances there, I gave it a shot. I had an out-of-body experience. I guess it went okay in the most recent one, and I was thankful for that. So the good news is we're advancing to the semifinals, and we can get the A crew back in there. So welcome back, Adrian Garcia Marquez, Monday night.
Yeah, no one's saying you're Adrian Garcia Marquez, believe me. But Darren, I'll be honest, we were driving around listening to the match, and I was like, holy crap, Darren can do play.
I thought you sounded great, Darren.
So did I. I had no idea that you had that in your bag of tricks, but well done.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. You guys are very kind. It's different. It's not something I've done in a really, really long time, probably back. The only other time I'd ever done play-by-play, there was a handful of games where I was in Peoria, Arizona during Padres spring training, and Ted was off to call San Diego State basketball. And Andy Mazer was in the Padre booth at the time, and he got called off to do USD basketball. And they were searching for anybody, and they ended up asking if I could do some games with Jerry Coleman. So I did 2 or 3 games. It was spring training games. You don't even know who's playing. I would say it was incredibly fortunate that it was Portland for the 4th consecutive match. So the prep work wasn't, as in-depth. I could focus a little bit more on what it was that I wanted to say and how I wanted to say it, and just hopefully not screw it up. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit nervous about going to Snapdragon Stadium with the idea that it could be the final broadcast of the season. I really did not want to sign off and say, okay, that was a great, I didn't want to be the person to say that sort of stuff. So I'm just glad that we get more opportunities here. And it was a huge relief that they had somewhat of a laugher in that game, so I could just sit back and enjoy it. And I think it took a lot of the stress away.
Yeah, 4-0 last time out. We'll see this time. So it's Minnesota coming to town this time to Snapdragon Stadium this upcoming Monday night. And you're going to hear Darren Smith on the call once again. But Darren, when you look at this team, there were some questions about Chucky Lozano and Anders Dreyer. I've been told that Mikey Varis, the manager of the program, he said something about that at the press conference today. You were at the press conference. What did Mikey have to say?
Yeah, press conference just ended 3 minutes before the phone rang. So this is perfect timing. This is hot off the presses, hot off the hot. What was the old line? The high-speed sports wire.
Off the wire.
So, Mikey said that Chucky trained today, that he is healthy and he is available. He didn't go into any great detail about Irving's situation and his health. He just said he's available and he's healthy. He said the same thing about Anders. I think during the week I had the opportunity to talk to the sporting director, Tyler Heaps. He said something similar about Anders. I had a chance for the midweek show to talk to Mikey. He said the initial report before Chucky got back was positive, that it wasn't going to be a big injury, but they had to get their eyes on him, right? They had to get the trainers on him, but his instincts were right. And if you're training today on Thursday after international duty, then it doesn't really, he's going to be available, so I think that's really, really good news. It does sound, and they're honest about their injuries here, a lot more honest than they are in some of the other sports, like in the NFL or in baseball. We see it all the time with the Padres. Like, oh, I don't know, he's got a little ouchie. You don't see the guy for 3 months. And Mikey said, during the week, he rattled off the players who were going to be unavailable. Oscar Verhoeven and Willie Kumato and Aiden Harangi, the 3 right backs. So it looks like it'll be Ian Pilcher there. He said the initial report on Chucky was good, and he confirmed that today. And even in a separate conversation that I had with him just to prep for the broadcast, he said, yeah, man, he's healthy and he's going to be good to go.
Darren, I'm curious before we get to Minnesota, looking back at that Portland game, playing them 4 straight times, were you surprised at how badly they dominated Portland after it was being so close in the game 2 or game 3 in a row in the last game?
Well, the first time they played them was on decision day, the final game of the regular season, and they destroyed them, absolutely battered them in their building for nothing. And then a little tighter at Snapdragon, 2-1, losing and giving up a goal in the second game. Really, that was a bit out of character. I think they felt like they let one get away in the second game up at Providence Park. Then, it just all came down to execution. There was this level of confidence around the training facility when I was around at the week of the third game that, they're like, everybody sort of said the same line. We're going to be okay. Like, we're going to be okay. We're all trained as sports fans, right? Because we don't have any control over this. We're all trained to think, well, that was such an emotional letdown. There's got to be some carryover, right? Like, there's got to be carryover. And, they said, we're going to be okay. Like, we're going to be okay if we play our style. If we're committed to the kind of soccer that we played all season long that's made us successful, we're going to be okay. And, again, we all are on the outside going, all right, I hope they're as confident internally as they are externally. And they were. And they get the goal in the 5th, 6th minute. Place goes nuts. It took some of the tension away. They get the second goal. They closed out the half in style. They get the third and party on. So, I think it was easy to let that one get away if you were Portland. It had to go a certain way for them to be successful, and it just did not go that way. After the 5th minute, and then the second goal made it 2-0, and it was just off to the races.
Darren Smith joining us here on San Diego Sports 760. Darren, I wonder what the 2 weeks does to guys like Chucky and Anders. Like, it's bizarre. In football, there's no way that someone playing for the Kansas City Chiefs would play a postseason game and then go play for their international team and then come back 2 weeks later and play another postseason game. It's just a very different world. But what does that do for guys like Chucky, who was just playing with the Mexican national team and now all of a sudden is back getting ready for another postseason match with SDFC?
Well, it's interesting because, this is one of the things that came up during the press conference, and it was when Amal Pellegrino, who scored 6 goals in his last 5 games, was asked that very question. And, he did say, that it's a playoff game at least allows them to focus when they return differently than if it was a regular season game. In terms of the travel, in terms of Anders he's a machine. This guy is just a freak. He just wants to play more. Like if he could play 2-3 times a week. He said this consistently. He likes playing. He just is not a guy that feels any level of fatigue. So nothing really bothers him. Again, he's here today. Mikey said he's going to be healthy, had a little bit of a bug that hit the Danish national team. But I think these guys are pros and they know how to, they know, it's disappointing that Anders was involved in a World Cup qualifier where it did not go Denmark's way. And, that's now something that the Danish national team is going to have to figure out somewhere down the road. But I think these guys are locked in. They know what the opportunity is. Chucky was playing in an international friendly. I think probably in abundance of caution, he decided to take himself out of that game and just make sure that he was ready for Monday night. But these guys are pros, man. They do this a lot. They do this professionally. It is what they want. They want to be playing for their national teams. They want to be playing at a high level for their club team. So they know how to flip the switch. And it also helps that you have Mikey, who has experience as a club coach now with SDFC, and also used to be a national team coach. So he understands how to get those players rested, how to get them ready to go for their next match. He has experience there. So does Tyler Heaps, the sporting director. So I think as much as you can be prepared for turning from national duty to club duty, these guys are on it.
Darren, looking at Minnesota, what do they bring to the table? Like, what should we be looking for early in the game to kind of see how it's going to go?
Very unique style. They have nothing in common with San Diego Football Club, nothing at all. SDFC wants time of possession. SDFC was first in time of possession. Minnesota was last. SDFC completed the most passes in MLS this regular season. Minnesota completed the fewest. So, they want to muck the game up, muck the game up. They want to, you don't have to put your finger on the dump there. They want to make it a little rough, a little physical. And SDFC is not against playing physically. They will do that when they have to, but they just represent a completely different style. And they have a really good goalkeeper, and they try to limit the amount of opportunities that you get. Now, I say that when Minnesota was here last, SDFC outshot them 28-6 or 26-6, something like that. I mean, they absolutely clobbered them in every statistic except the scoreboard, the one that matters most. So they just represent a really tough style that you have to be clinical. You have to take advantage of your chances. The chances were there on September 13th. And when those chances are there coming up on Monday night, you've just got to be a little bit better. You got to be a little bit more clinical, and I think you'll be okay.
Darren Smith joining us today on San Diego Sports 760. And you can go to sandiegofc.com and look for some of these sold out tickets. I don't know if resale is going to be available, but Monday night is going to be a blast at Snapdragon Stadium. All right, Darren, I'd be doing myself a disservice and everyone listening a disservice if we didn't get your thoughts on the Padres situation. So 2 years ago, almost to the day, we lost Peter Seidler. 2 years later, after in his last public interview, Peter Seidler said, I want the Padres to be in the Seidler family for generations to come. And now it appears that the Padres are going to be going up for sale, or at least exploring the option of going up for sale. What are your thoughts on the offseason so far for the San Diego Padres?
Well, it makes me sad, obviously, because I really learned to appreciate how good things were when Peter Seidler was alive and was the chairman of the team. And how, whether it was a family civil war or any other sort of situation, it always felt like the next group was going to have a tough time living up to that standard. All we can do is hope. All we can do is hope that somebody will see the value in not only the business side of baseball, of owning the San Diego Padres as a business, but will appreciate the value that Peter so appreciated, which is legacy. That was important to Peter. Peter was really somebody who cared about San Diego, who cared not just about the business of baseball, but cared about the Lucky Duck Foundation, right? Helping homelessness, trying to be a force in the community for good, not just based on wins and losses, although obviously that was very important as well. And we were very fortunate to have him, and I think those are big shoes to fill. So can be both optimistic and pessimistic about what's lurking around the corner, because we just don't know. There's a lot of these owners who just treat it like a personal ATM, and they don't really care about the winning side of it. They don't really care about the legacy. Peter did, and all we can do is put our hope and trust that baseball will find somebody who will never replace Peter Seidler, but maybe in some ways will remind us a little bit of what made him so special.
Does Darren Smith have $2.5 billion lying around?
I'd support it.
I do not, but I'm I'm open-minded. If somebody wants to make me the face of something, I probably wouldn't pass the vetting process anyway with Major League Baseball. Let's be honest. I got too many skeletons in the closet. You guys know that. So probably wouldn't pass muster with some of those other billionaires. But, I do. I just hope the next person that comes in understands that they're not just getting a business, that they're getting something that is really special and something that has been set up by somebody who is so special and cares so deeply about the city of San Diego. Don't just tell us, prove to us that that's in fact what you want. So I hope that's the case. But if anybody out there is listening and they want somebody to guide them through the process, I am available. You can find me wherever you find me on social media.
You can find him at D Smith Show as well, or at Darren Smith Show, as well as Section 1904, an excellent podcast that Darren's been a part of here over the last couple of years. D Smith, thank you for your time, brother. Appreciate you, and good luck Monday night.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for having me, and we will see you next on Monday night at Snapdragon Stadium. Looking forward to it.
Can't wait for it. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. Long shots on the other side. Also on the other side, those San Diego State football tickets. They're coming for you right after long shots. Sammy, smash it. San Diego Sports 760. Well, Sammy versus the Machine ended up being a total bust. It ended up being a draw. Both of them lost. So Sammy 0, Machine 0.
It's that damn Russell Westbrook, man.
So actually, the lineup my brother created using AI for long shots yesterday, it did not work for him. It did end up working for me. I kind of tripped into a win.
Did you let Big Bro know about that?
I did. He's pissed, but I had to change it because the Russell Westbrook option he had wasn't available. So I did a different Russell Westbrook option that ended up cashing. So Sammy 0, Machine 0, Fletch 1 is the scoreboard as of right now.
I was very excited about my picks yesterday because
they were looking good.
Şengün hit. I'm forgetting the other one that hit. Andrew Wiggins had 13 points at half. He needed 18. He finished with 17. And Russ had 5 shots in a close game against Oklahoma City at half. And he needed 13. I was like, okay, he can maybe get this if this game's close. He can be in the game late, veteran presence. And Russell Westbrook, like he didn't come through for my Lakers when he played, didn't come through for long shots. So
Wiggins needed 1 more point. Russell Westbrook needed 6 more shots.
Yeah. Russell Westbrook about to go on the blacklist from long shots.
But I'll be honest, if we were only doing Thursdays over the course of this football season, I think your record would be outrageous because Thursdays have been winners for the most part here on long shots.
We have an all NFL same game parlay.
I'm just gonna take a wild guess in the fact that it includes a Josh Allen less than.
It's actually has a Josh Allen more than.
Wow, let's get to it. Sammy, smash.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money, you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance.
Say that to me and his man.
With long shots.
All right, Sammy, where are we going?
Tyler riding with us on YouTube. My guy.
What up, Tyler?
All right, we got a fun game tonight. I'm actually excited about this Thursday night football game. I mean, it's the NFL, so we're always going to be excited watching. But I think it's going to be a pretty good game tonight. So we have 2 Buffalo Bills in here, and we have 1 Houston Texan. First, we're going to start with Josh Allen. More than 34.5 rushing yards. You notice the last couple of weeks, picking up the amount of rush attempts he's doing. He had 40 yards against Tampa Bay, 31 against Miami, only 19 against KC, 7 against Carolina. It has went steadily up every single week. Why do I think he's going to be running the ball tonight? Because Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter are 2 of the best pass rushers in the game. And one way to slow that down, the Bills are equipped to do that because of James Cook, because of Josh Allen. Get out of the pocket. Allen's a tough matchup for them, because he's tough to bring down. He's kind of that Roethlisberger type, except he's actually fast and can run. So more than
Roethlisberger was fast for the first 2.5 years of his career.
Yeah, and then it took a dive. More than 34.5 rushing yards for Josh Allen. I think he evades the pocket, gets a couple long ones tonight, and to settle down that defense. I also think they're going to be winning in this game. What does that mean? We're milking clock. We're also going to the Buffalo Bills. James Cook, more than 15.5 receiving yards. Again, going back to the pass rush, quick dump offs. The problem for the Bills so far this season, they do not have that downfield threat. It's not there. So when they're up on people like Tampa Bay last week, it looks great because they're able to play ahead of the chains. James Cook, they're able to hand the ball off to him. One of the best rushing teams in the entire NFL. Josh Allen able to run a little read option, get out of the pocket and kill people. When they're playing from behind, it's a little bit tougher because who's the number 1 guy getting separation? Also, Derek Stingley Jr., one of the best corners in the NFL, going for Houston. Is Keon Coleman going to be the guy? Khalil Shakir looks like he's going to be out today. Who is going to be the dude? Dalton Kincaid has been the number 1 receiver basically for most of the year, and he's a tight end. So what I think happens tonight, a lot of rushing attempts for Josh Allen, more than 34.5 rush yards, and then James Cook, more than 15.5 receiving yards. Quick dump offs to slow that pass rush down. Get after this Houston defense.
I like those because both of them could happen on one play.
Right, and they work with each other. And then game script, again, if we're thinking Buffalo's going to be leading, they're favored by 5.5 points. I think it's a close game. I don't think it's a blowout, but I do see them leading this game. Davis Mills, more than 32.5 pass attempts. Playing from behind, game script. Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz. Davis Mills quietly has actually had a couple of really nice weeks against Jacksonville. He lit them up. They finished with 36 points. They really scored 30 because they had the fumble Ruski to the end zone at the end of the game. Davis Mills, though, quietly has been really good, throwing a lot of passing attempts and a lot of drama with the backfield situation. Joe Mixon has been out for the entire year. It came out this morning he's out for the entire year. As of 5 minutes ago, he tweeted that was clickbait. So, Weird situation going on with the Texans running back room. You have Nick Chubb, who's passed it. Woody Marks, a nice young player out of USC. He's had a nice little season for them, a 4th-round pick out of SC. But I think tonight, Davis Mills trailing from behind, more than 32.5 passing attempts. So to recap, Davis Mills, more than 32.5 passing attempts. We're going Josh Allen, more than 34.5 rushing yards, and James Cook, more than 15.5 receiving yards.
Do you like one to add on to that?
What you got?
Well, you can stack now on Prize Picks. Nah, never mind. Josh Allen's number's at 2. I thought it was going to be a half rushing touchdown, but 2 feels like a little much.
I like this. With same game parlays, again, you got to follow the game script. You can't pick like what Vegas wants you to do. This is why a little quick Sammy Claus tidbit. When you see
Sammy Claus,
we're giving out gifts to the betting public of San Diego. When you see on these massive networks, ESPN, Fox, and stuff, when they give you same game parlays and they have a quarterback going over his passing yards and a running back going over rushing yards, they're trying to trick you into doing that because the chances of that happening, considering if they're throwing the ball, they're not rushing the ball, is very slim. So you got to follow game script when you're going 3-leg same game parlays.
We have incredibly generous listeners here on the Fletch Zone, Sammy, and I do want to let you know somebody just texted me, a travel agent that I know, and they said if you want to give Sammy my number, you can. I'm looking at options right now at Cancun resorts for right when the NFL postseason starts, and he might be able to run into Patrick Mahomes.
Are travel agents even still a thing?
Oh yeah, big thing. So if you want this number, just let me know. No. They got some specials running.
Have
right
your
now.
fun. I'm telling you right now. Have your fun. Get your jokes in. The boys are locked in and ready for Sunday.
Do you want a good deal on some round trip flights to Cancun?
They're not going to Cancun. Stay? Don't let them get in as a 7th seed and go to Denver in round 1.
All right, we're going to finish off hour 1, giving away some San Diego State football tickets. If you want to go to the game this Saturday night, they're taking on San Jose State. There is some scenarios in which Saturday night's game will clinch them home in the Mountain West Championship game. So if you want to go to the game, 877-767-4760. We got a pair of tickets for you. If you want to buy tickets, go Aztecs.com is the place to do so. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sport sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. SDFC taking on Minnesota Monday, live from Snapdragon at 7 o'clock. SDFC is currently a minus 160 favorite to move on in the MLS Cup playoffs. You hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. In the NFL tonight, got a good one. Bills traveling to Houston to take on the Texans. No CJ Stroud in this one. Davis Mills will be getting the start. Bills are currently a 5.5 point favorite with the point total set at 44.5. Do you need HVAC? This month gets 0% for 18 months on a new system. Schedule your free proposal at AndersonPHA.com. Anderson, fast and reliable.
It's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. If you're new to this show, if you're just jumping on for the first time, we appreciate the hell out of you. Sammy, who just won those San Diego State
Rob,
tickets?
the man, dude.
Big Rob? Of
Big
Rob and
Rob.
Big? That's crazy.
Big Rob.
Welcome to the show, Rob. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you a lot. But we like to talk sports, obviously, as a sports station. We talk a lot of sports gambling. If you're looking for content like that, we are your guys. Now, I will say, when the worlds of sports and gambling collide,
We love it.
Where Sammy and I really start to thrive. And this past Sunday night, allegedly, rumored, not 100% factual, but we're going to go with it as if it is. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens were both seen partying late into the night in Las Vegas at, I believe it was Red Rocks Casino. I could be wrong on that. But there was reports out yesterday that CeeDee Lamb was seen throwing up in public at Red Rocks Casino at 7:30 a.m. at Red Rocks Casino. That means he and George Pickens were partying all night long in Las Vegas into the wee hours of the morning, and then both
G-Pick.
balling out on Monday Night Football against the Las Vegas Raiders. A lot of people are standing up on their pedestal and saying, "How dare they? This is why we never should have had a team in Las Vegas."
Oh, please.
I say, wrong. Fun. I like CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens more today.
First
because
off,
of
they
this.
balled out in the game.
They were awesome.
This is not a New
It
York
was the
Giants,
Raiders, but-
New York Giants against the Green Bay Packers banana boat situation where we're taking a trip, Odell and the boys, to, was it Miami or something? The week before. They play awful in the game, and you go, guys, what are we doing here? When you back it up on the field and the offense looks as good as it has all season, albeit against the Raiders, but they look great. I mean, they kind of got the last laugh because Schottenheimer benches them for the first drive of the game. That must have been why that was, because no one really knew. It was odd on the broadcast. They seemed surprised by it too. And they had a good time out in Vegas. I'm just surprised they weren't at like a nightclub. They were at the Red Rocks Casino.
George Pickens, 9 catches, 144 yards, 1 touchdown. CeeDee Lamb, 5 catches, 66 yards, 1 touchdown. Like, it'd be one thing if they both came up and put absolute zeros. But the fact that people are angry about this, I'm kind of out on it. Look, as long as they weren't in a sports book betting on them, do whatever you want.
You know the story about Floyd Mayweather when he fought Conor McGregor? He was up at the club the night before till 8 a.m. He had the fight that night, slept in till like 3 o'clock, woke up, beat his ass, and then collected $100 million.
Sports are easy. Just figure it out. Try less, do more. That's
Be
what I always
athletic
say.
and a great fighter.
It is funny though that people are getting so angry about this. I'm like, who cares? They're adults. Look, if I show up hungover for work and I miss my first segment of the show, I'm going to get in trouble. Those guys showed up hungover for work. They missed a team meeting. They got in trouble. They missed the first drive of the game.
You know what drives me crazy?
Leave it at that.
Is when championship parades, when you see this stuff, like this happened to the Chiefs, happened to basically any team that's won
How
championship.
about when Tom Brady had to be carried off
Right.
of the float?
Everyone's like in their 20s, 30s. They just won a Super Bowl, NBA championship, MLB World, whatever. They win it. They're partying. I would be drunk as hell too because you just won a championship. And then on the paper the next day, they're like, it's a bad influence on our kids. Like, be quiet. Like, stop.
It's like Sammy says, family doesn't even matter.
Never put family first, especially when it comes to your over-unders on game day.
I mean, I wholeheartedly disagree with everything Sammy just said about family, but other than that, your point's valid. Like, get over it. Take off. No, I'm not going to say that. All right, it is San Diego Sports.
Hey, we got the dump
760.
button. You can say it. We can dump it.
The other favorite thing I have going in the NFL right now is one of the most electrifying players of the season, and I'm really sad he's not still playing. Had a horrific injury a few weeks ago, but Cam Scatterbo of the New York Giants, like all of a sudden life has been breathed back into.
Did you see that video of him?
That's what I'm saying. So Cam Scatterbo is now a Twitch streamer, apparently. And Cam Scattaboo, if you thought he was intense on the field, imagine this dude playing Madden. He's losing his mind on these Twitch streams, but he just hit some sort of milestone on his live stream. And to celebrate it, he took off his shoe, or game-worn cleat, actually, poured an energy drink into it, and chugged it. Cam Scattaboo is the hero that New York needed, and they didn't even know they needed him.
He's just living the life. Cam Scattaboo is like New York's favorite new star now.
Going to Knicks games, sitting courtside,
just eating it up, having a blast.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars on his new YouTube Twitch stream. Like, Cam Scattaboo has figured it out.
Jackson Dart's like the new superstar, but he's like, man, I'm still getting destroyed every play because offensive line can't block, and Scattaboo and Neighbors just recovering from their injuries, ready for next season.
I kind of wish I was Cam Scattaboo. Like, get me injured. Let me take some time off of work, build an empire online, be one of the most famous people in New York.
You think the Giants are going to be really fun next year?
I think so too. Malik Neighbors, Cam Scattaboo fully healthy. This experience for Jackson Dart, by the way, right now, having to do this on his own is the best thing that could have happened to him at this point.
And remember what happened in the Cowboys? Remember the year that Des Bryant and Tony Romo, they all got hurt. They bottomed out. They won like 3 or 4 games. That was the year. I know Dak was a late round pick. They got Ezekiel Elliott. They got Dak Prescott. Then the next year they got the Zach Martin. Like, they changed the fortune of their franchise because they have a solid team. Injuries took them back, and then they still are acquiring top draft picks. That's why it's funny if you're Cincinnati. We're talking about Joe Burrow. Like, you obviously don't want to punt on the season, but if you're the Bengals, considering you need defensive help massively, Joe Burrow's going to win you some games. If you just bottom the season out and had a top 5 pick and could really add some defensive help and trade back, there's a thought to that if you're a Bengal fan.
Like, for Jackson Dart right now, he is playing about as good as could have been expected, and he's doing it without 2 of their most highly drafted offensive pieces, 2 of his best weapons, 2 of the better weapons across the NFL right now between Cam Scattaboo and Malik Neighbors. This is going to pay dividends in 10 some come the next few years. All right, let's get to the big 3 of hour number 2 here. We do have SeaWorld San Diego tickets, 4 of them to give away this hour, so stay tuned for that. Plus, we got to get into some Black Friday conversations here. It's only about a week away, but Sammy, go ahead, smash it for the big 3.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The big 3.
Our buddy Tyler on YouTube, I'm going to assume the statute of limitations is off on this one, so we could probably just say it. I know a guy that saw Aaron Rodgers at Mission Valley Hooters the night before the 2004 Holiday Bowl and bought him a bunch of shots, then went across the border to Caliente to place a $1,000 bet on Texas Tech, betting against a hungover Rodgers. I don't remember the outcome of that game. I'll have to look that up. It would have been Cal, Texas Tech.
Tyler with the scoop.
Tyler, nice story, man. Sammy, where are we going?
And of course, if it's not true and someone with power happens to be listening, it's completely hypothetical. And
Allegedly.
it was a texter who said it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's all alleged. We say allegedly after every segment.
CJ Stroud is not playing tonight, but let's just say, for sake of argument, we talk a lot about
Texas Tech won the game 45-31. How about that?
There you go. CJ Stroud not playing tonight, but we kind of talk a lot about, Tua, CJ Stroud, these guys, Trevor Lawrence, the guys you thought were going to kind of become superstars that haven't yet. A, is CJ Stroud labeled a bust yet? And number 2, where would you rank him in terms of quarterback? If you were doing a quarterback draft, where would he be?
Man, I'm really bummed about CJ Stroud. After his rookie season, maybe we crowned him a little bit too early. I'm starting to get the feeling that we did the same with Jaden Daniels. But after CJ Stroud's rookie season, I thought that, the Houston Texans are back. Look at this guy. He can make every throw. He makes good decisions. He seems like he's probably 10 years older than he actually is when you hear him talk. It was like archetype for NFL quarterback has changed. And CJ Stroud might be that next iteration of what every team is going after. And then it just hasn't worked since his rookie season. Last year was a disappointment. This year, injury withstanding, it's been an ugly look for him this year. And Nico Collins, who we all think is one of the better wide receivers in football, has had a down year because of it. I think CJ Stroud, man, that ceiling is high. He's still in the top 15 for me of when I'm drafting a guy, but he's fallen deep from where he was, which people had him in the top 5 conversation after his rookie season.
It is, the NFL is always looking to find the next big thing. Understandably, we get excited about rookie quarterbacks. We watch college football. We get excited about guys coming up the pipeline. It does feel like, though, every year there's been a guy like CJ Stroud was anointed as the next big thing. Jaden Daniels anointed as the next big thing. Now, I think Jaden Daniels actually is super legit. I think the roster construction around him, the lack of the amount of injuries, Terry McLaurin not playing, and probably had a little bit fortunate luck in the first season. But I think Daniel's the truth. Trevor Lawrence was this. Herbert was this early on, took a dip, and now I think has risen back to that. Kyler Murray as well was kind of anointed, and now is not that guy. We have to give. It's funny how the development of rookie quarterbacks. It used to be they got 2 years. Like they used to literally get 2 years to sit there. You could suck, and you would be good by year 3. With Herbert, Mahomes, and Lamar coming in, it changed everything because those 3 were good immediately. Now, Mahomes a little skewed because he sat the first year, but Lamar came in, was a baller. Herbert came in game 2, was fantastic, and Mahomes had a great second season, basically a rookie season. So ever since those 3 guys, it has changed how the expectations, like in Josh Rosen, that was the first situation ever where Josh Rosen was a top pick. He was one of the highest quarterbacks out of UCLA that one year, and the Cardinal team was just bad. They're picking at the top of the draft again, and they take Kyler Murray. So we anoint guys fast in terms of CJ Stroud has a good season, and then they just fall off a cliff. I don't think CJ Stroud sucks, but I do think we got too high on him for a couple games toward the end of the season when they were playing a fourth place schedule. We'll see. I'm kind of with you. CJ Stroud would be in the mid tier to me, but with a lot of upside. But I don't know who I'd take between like Tua, Stroud, Kyler, Trevor Lawrence. Like that's a kind of interesting grouping where I'm at right there.
Yeah. What's next?
Buffalo Bills. Okay, they're playing tonight. 5.5 point favorites.
The disdain in your voice when you say the words Buffalo Bills.
I need them to win tonight. I told you I'm rooting for them. It's odd, doesn't feel good, but should they be the favorite in the AFC right now? Because looking at the AFC, they're currently in the wild card. It looks like it's going to be tough for them to jump the New England Patriots after the Patriots beat them earlier this year. They do play them one more time, but it's in Foxborough. Should the Bills be the favorites in the AFC?
So right now it's Broncos, Patriots, Colts, Steelers, Bills. That's the AFC playoff picture. Look, on experience and experience alone, I think you kind of do have to give the nod to the Bills because out of those teams I just mentioned, who has more playoff experience? Nobody. Look, the Denver Broncos, until proven otherwise, are still just going to be the Denver Broncos. It was a great win over the Kansas City Chiefs. Hell, they've had a great season. They're 9-2. They're winning a bunch of close games. Bo Nix looks good in the fourth quarter. Not too much outside of that. But then the Patriots, who have probably looked like the best team in the AFC this year, are we really saying that Drake May, even if he's hosting Buffalo in the first round of the postseason, are we really giving Drake May the nod over Josh Allen and the Bills? Look, I don't feel good about anyone in the AFC. I feel like it's a complete crapshoot at this point. But yeah, the Bills might be the favorite in the AFC. If you had to say, pick a team right now who's going to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, it might have to be the Buffalo Bills.
Well, because the 3 teams, if you take, now obviously the Ravens and Chiefs have a tougher road to get to the postseason. If you take the Bills, Ravens, Chiefs, they're the scariest 3 teams. Not in terms of maybe they're not the best 3 teams in terms of talent, but at the end of the day, find me people that are going to pick Bo Nix over 83 of those quarterbacks in round 1.
If the Bills, Ravens, and Chiefs are the 3 wild card teams in the AFC, this has the opportunity to be one of the most upset-heavy AFC postseasons ever.
Because if you take, like, let's think of who it would be. You'd have, let's say, whatever, the Colts, the Broncos, the Patriots, all this stuff. Would the Ravens, Chiefs, and Bills, regardless of the matchup, be favored on the road? I mean, in any of those matchups, I think it would be hard pressed to think you got to knock these guys out. These 3 quarterbacks have been perennially at the top. Herbert has really ascended to that. I just think the Chargers' injuries are too much to handle. Like that game against Jacksonville, he is just getting destroyed in the backfield every play. It was so bad they had to take him out in the fourth quarter to literally save his brain. But like this is a fascinating AFC wildcard picture because I don't think we've ever seen a team where the best quarterbacks are likely all going to be in the wild card, but maybe the better rosters are all hosting home playoff games. So we're going to see in the NFL, what matters more, having a good roster or having a better quarterback?
It's a great point. And you can look back to some of the NBA seasons where teams like the Lakers, who have kind of skirted through the regular season, all of a sudden in the postseason are a big problem, or the Warriors a year ago before Steph Curry got hurt in the postseason. See what really matters the most. All right. When we were in Circa, Sammy, getting ready to put in our Circa Survivor bet,
yes,
my buddies and I that weekend we each put $20 in and did division winners all across the NFL. We've already ripped it up and thrown it away because of the AFC and how screwy it's been this year.
What did you guys pick, like Houston and everything?
We picked the teams that should have won their divisions coming into the season. And guess what? None of that is playing out. NFC, I think we're 100% right, unless the Bears hold on and win the NFC North. I think we picked the Lions, but
I tried to tell you about the Bears.
You did try. I still don't think it's going to happen. But the AFC, if anyone would have told you that it was going to be Broncos, Pats, and Colts all leading their division at this point in the season, and throw the Steelers in there too with Aaron Rodgers.
I guess we could get into it more later, but like, who do you trust the most of those? Because it's hard. It's hard to me to like the Broncos might have the most complete roster in the AFC, but I'm sorry. Like, and I give Bo Nix credit. He made big plays against my Chiefs. I don't see that. Like, I don't see Bo Nix in the wild card picture right now is the worst quarterback in the playoffs. Maybe in the AFC. In the AFC, maybe Trevor Lawrence, you could argue. Maybe Aaron Rodgers, but in terms of pedigree,
even Daniel Jones, if he turns back into a pumpkin here, it's a tricky one for sure. All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. We got some SeaWorld tickets on the other side, as well as Big Three, number 3, which we didn't get to right now, live on the iHeartRadio app. Catch the Sean Lewis Coaches Show tonight at 6 o'clock right here on San Diego Sports 760. John Schaefer, Rich Ornberger sit down with the head coach to preview Saturday's game versus San Jose State. The Sean Lewis Coaches Show tonight at 6 right here on your home for the Aztecs, San Diego Sports 760. Should be a good one tonight. Sean Lewis, I've never seen him more fired up than after that Boise State win, and we'll see how it goes this weekend. But just for reference, San Jose State in their previous matchup just lost to Nevada 55-10, which if you watch Nevada earlier this year against the Aztecs, you might think, how in the world is it capable for a team to score 55 points looking like that? Not to say anything. This is absolutely a trap game. New Mexico is very good, which is the final game of the season for the San Diego
We saw what
State
happened
Aztecs.
last time there was a trap game, so Aztecs got to take it seriously.
For sure. Absolutely. But Sammy and I can sit here and laugh at the fact that Nevada put up 55 points on San Jose State. That's insanity. All right. We did not get to big three. Number 3, Sammy, what was it going to be?
We're going to the Lakers. So kind of breaking news out of the Buss family. So Mark Walter, the guy who owns the Dodgers, a lot of teams, has bought into the Lakers, sold for $10 billion a couple months ago. So the brothers, so not Jeannie, but the Buss brothers have both been fired today, as well as Mark Walter has cleared out most of the scouting staff for the Lakers. And Joey and Jesse Buss, why this is a big deal is because they had to struggle with Jeannie over who should get control of the team after Dr. Jerry Buss died. And it just goes to show, like, Mark Walter coming in here and changing everything within the organization. Like, you know, having more money, people made a big deal about the fact that Mark Walter had more money. People go, where does this help? Because in the NBA, there's a salary cap. It's not like baseball where you can just, like the Dodgers, you can just go buy players because they're making that much more money. But this is where in the NBA and in the NFL it helps, is you get your scouting department, you get things like this, you build out a coaching staff where some owners, like the Lakers, were never rich. That's what's funny is, despite them being the Los Angeles Lakers, one of the most valued franchises in all of sports, the Buss family was never one of the richest families in basketball and could never afford these type of acquisitions.
Well, they are now. That's going to be valued. What the Buss family is going to be valued around $10 billion. So the comments from the brothers are kind of crazy. So this is Joey and Jesse Buss told ESPN, "Thank you to Laker Nation for embracing our family every step of the way. We wish things could be different with the way our time ended with the team. At times like this, we wish we could ask our dad what he would think of it all." And then Jesse Buss said, Dr. Buss's idea was for Joey and I to run basketball operations one day, but Jeannie has effectively kept herself in place with her siblings fired.
Wow.
Look, this has been a chaotic, disruptive family from the get-go. We saw on the HBO documentary that somehow Steve Hartman was a part of.
Waiting Time.
The story, winning time, of how Dr. Buss came to be in control of the Lakers, and it was never functional. John C. Reilly, by the way, did such a good job with that show. But it was never like everything was, hey, this is easy. No, there was always bumps in the road. And it's continued to be that way. And honestly, part of me, not a big part of me, but part of me does feel bad for the Buss family because owning the Lakers has completely torn them apart. And Jeannie Buss is on one side, the two brothers are on the other side. And aren't there a lot of similarities to what's happening with the San Diego Padres as we speak?
It is interesting.
Literally right now.
It is interesting.
So it is crazy to see how this can just completely wreck a family into tiny little pieces. But obviously there's no mending the relationship between the brothers and Jeannie and the other way around. So this came down to a situation where the new owners come in and be like, well, we got to cut one of these cancers out. Jeannie Buss is the more popular one. She's been running this thing for a while. Right. We're going to keep her around.
And I disagree with Uncle Steve Hartman, who says he didn't like Jeannie Buss. I think Jeannie Buss, from what she's had to deal with, again, not with the Lakers organization is valued super high. The Buss family, like Ballmer across the street with the Clippers, blows them out of the water in terms of just value in the amount of money that the family has. But I thought Jeannie's done an exceptional job, especially I know there was some down years there after the 2010 championship against Boston. But like, this is the kind of stuff that if you take it from a Padre perspective, again, it's a different sport. In baseball, you can just go purchase players. So if the Padres get some super rich dude coming in here that wants to just write blank checks, that's great for the city of San Diego. In terms of the NBA, like, look at what Oklahoma City has done. Oklahoma City pays Sam Presti a lot of money because Sam Presti gets offers to go anywhere else because he's the best evaluator of talent in basketball, time in and time out that there is. I mean, look what he finds. Finds AJ Mitchell, a guy in the second round that looks like now a superstar to add to a championship winning team. These are the kind of things when you get an owner that pays money, you can go recruit a Sam Presti from Oklahoma City. You can go get guys that you can just round out the performance of the whole team that's not just on the court.
Now, I will say, since Dr. Buss passed away, it's not like the Lakers have had just crazy success under Jeannie Buss. Like, they had the 3 in a row from 2000 to 2002, and then they had back-to-back 09 and 10.
And
But
then
then
2020.
which do you count that or do you not? I don't know.
I think there's an argument that's the most pure form of championship. I mean,
sure,
they're in
except
a
the
bubble
Lakers
and
for sure benefited from the bubble more than any other team.
no, but they didn't because they were the number one overall seed, so they didn't get a home court advantage.
Right, but they also had LeBron, who was dealing with some injuries, who got 3 weeks of rest right before the postseason.
Well, that's
started.
fair. They were an older team, but you could also argue that it benefited lower seeds who didn't have to go on the road and play a game 7 in a hostile environment. Damian Lillard said it was the most pure form of basketball he's ever said.
It was an AAU tournament with professional athletes. It was kind of chaos, was what it was.
In a hard time in society, just in life.
Okay,
Where I'm 100. Anyone who wants to discount that one is crazy.
You have the talking points ready to go on that one.
Oh, I can go for hours on the 2020 Lakers championship.
Okay, well, I think a lot of people would probably be on this side of the fence, where the 2020 championship, I don't know, needs to be considered a true NBA championship.
No, but how is it not though?
Because it was all played in one location. There was no travel involved.
Exactly. So
hotel rooms.
if you were a higher seed, it didn't benefit you.
Variables that never would happen in a normal postseason.
Exactly.
Run.
So it would be harder for an 8 seed to go on the road in a 7-game series, considering a game 7 would be played in that home court.
I understand
when the Lakers have a home court advantage.
Outside of seeding, I don't know where the Lakers had all the advantages. It's an even playing field going into something like that.
But how would they have advantages if they didn't have home court?
Because they got weeks and weeks of rest.
Everyone got weeks and weeks of rest.
Argument. I've had this with my Lakers buddies. Man, I can't stand this argument.
Every team had rest.
This is equivalent to but it benefited the Lakers.
The Clippers had old man Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, and they still got beat by Jamal Murray.
This is MJ versus LeBron. This one could go round and round in circles.
No, because it's a fact. Like what I'm saying is right.
What you're saying is subjectively right in your mind. It's not completely right. We're going to take a break. First, we're going to give away some SeaWorld tickets. How about that? 4-pack of tickets on the line for SeaWorld San Diego to celebrate their Christmas season. The park is going to be all decked out. The halls will be decked with boughs of holly. Give us a call right now, 877-767-4760. If you want a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld San Diego, caller number.
Let's go 15.
Let's go 15. Caller number 15. You are going to SeaWorld San Diego. Thanks to San Diego Sports 760. If you want to buy tickets, you can go to SeaWorldSanDiego.com. But a 4-pack of tickets on the line right now. 877-767-4760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Joe Mixon is not expected to play this season. He's been out with an injury for most of the year for the Houston Texans. He just refuted that on Twitter, calling it clickbait. So we don't know what's going on there with the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans are in action tonight. They're at home against the Buffalo Bills, bringing their 7-3 record against the Houston Texans at 5-5, fighting for a wild card spot. Buffalo is currently a 5.5-point favorite with the point total set at 44.5. Need HVAC this month? Get 0% for 18 months on a new system. Schedule your free proposal at AndersonPHA.com. Anderson, fast and reliable.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. Man, this show plays more Drake than just about anybody on the planet.
It's always some time for some Drizzy.
Sammy loves himself some Drake.
We had a little Snoop before, and then in Dr. Dre, and now we got some Drake going on next segment.
Yeah, and they're all totally comparable in success and history.
Well, no. I'm not saying Drake is not Snoop or Dr. Dre. Let's not get that twisted.
And the 2020 championship was fake. It was a fraud, Sammy.
That's ridiculous. You know that's not true. You're just trolling.
619. Speaking of trolling, to assist Sammy in his transition out of the Chiefs fan club this year,
please,
I will provide this hot take. Andy Reid is the most overrated coach in the NFL. While he was with the Eagles, he failed miserably in pressure playoff / Super Bowl situations, which led to his firing. One thing changed, and that is that has now made Reid look like the best coach ever, Patrick Mahomes. If Reid didn't have Mahomes, he would be in the same company as Billy O'Brien.
Oh, no.
Love the show.
No.
From Brian.
I love me some Brian.
Before Sammy starts attacking, I will disagree with this text. Andy Reid's a damn good coach, but name one of the best coaches in NFL history and don't have them paired with an all-time quarterback.
Right. So Bill Belichick sucks.
Reid, Mahomes, Bill Walsh, Joe Montana. Like if you go through the list, Tomlin had Roethlisberger, Peyton had Breeze. It's impossible to find an all-time great head coach without an all-time great quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, Brian, you're my guy. I love the text you sent in, but this is completely wrong. I mehad to Philly. Donovan McNabb made a superstar. Michael Vick continued to be a superstar. Alex Smith was a guy who had the weird benching because Kaepernick came in. He didn't become a superstar, but he became a damn good quarterback for the Chiefs.
If the Niners never bench Alex Smith, we have a Super Bowl.
I actually firmly agree with that. And then you take Patrick Mahomes, who coming out of Texas Tech. No one thought quarterbacks from an air raid offense could be successful. Like there would be no Mahomes, no Josh Allen, none of these guys that get taken because an air raid offense, people thought they didn't have the quarterbacks that came out of it didn't have the processing information to really be successful in the NFL, where you're making tougher reads versus everyone just kind of going down the field and throwing it up. I mean, you could argue that he's completely what Mahomes is. Mahomes would still be fantastic if he went somewhere else, but if Mahomes went to the Jets, there's no way you would have the hardware that he has if he wasn't with Andy Reid.
I would actually agree with that. Now, Sammy, you would say you're a Cam Scatterboo fan, right? You like what he does for the game?
Love me some Cam Scatterboo.
619, Cam Scatterboo picked Denver to win the Super Bowl. Seems like a great guy.
Big Camden?
I didn't see that he did, but if that's true, 619, that's classic.
That's crazy that he's picking against, even though the Giants aren't eliminated from the playoffs.
Right. He wouldn't be saying that if the Giants were a serious playoff team. Different 619 number says a little more backstory to that 2004 Holiday Bowl. Cal got screwed out of a BCS game when Mac Brown convinced some media members to leapfrog Texas over Cal. So even back in 2004, college football playoff or BCS national championship was a complete sham. Who knew? 858 Sammy, the Bills fan, has a nice ring to it. No?
Oh God,
Sammy,
no!
Are you going to wear some Buffalo Blue today?
Never.
Are you going to jump through a table today?
I'm not going to be caught dead with Buffalo Bills gear on.
I have a flamethrower. I could light a table on fire for you. And you jump through it.
I need them to win tonight.
Okay, at least acknowledge this: the Buffalo Bills tailgate seems like the coolest party in the country.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for them, yeah. Interesting.
You are such a hater, dude.
No,
2025 Bo Nixon, this defense versus the 2015 broken down plantar fasciitis Peyton Manning with the no-fly zone defense. Which is better? It's a great question, man. That 2015 Denver Broncos team was still sick.
That's interesting. 760.
How about Peyton Manning just coming back in the postseason and say, sit down? Was it Brock Osweiler? Was that the quarterback for the Broncos at that point?
Peyton was so bad in the playoffs.
Awful. Rode that defense. Like Von Miller won that Super Bowl. He got the Super Bowl MVP.
Oh, yeah.
And Cam Newton, let's be very honest, lost that Super Bowl.
Yeah, but not jumping on the ball.
Right. But Peyton Manning and that no-fly zone defense was unreal.
I think
I'm taking 2015.
I'm with you, Fletch, because the no-fly zone defense, that was the only defense that I have seen in my lifetime that you could argue is better is the Seattle Legion of Boom in 2013. Outside of that, Von Miller was in his prime. You had DeMarcus Ware. You had who was the corner? Aqib Talib was there. I mean, that defense was stacked with just Pro Bowlers from top to bottom. Now, it's hard to say. Like Peyton Manning was awful in that. Like he was terrible. He could barely throw a football past 30 yards. Bo Nix is obviously a lot younger and more athletic, but we haven't seen Bo Nix in a playoff game, so it'd be hard for me to take Bo Nix in this defense over Manning in 2015.
But if this defense carries Bo Nix to a Super Bowl, maybe the argument has to be made. I'm curious to see what they look like when they get that Moss dude off of that cornerback 2 spot. He sucks, man.
He is their number 2 though. It's out Surtain. He's the number 2 with Surtain.
But if Surtain comes back, wouldn't that replace it?
Like they got McMillian, but he's really the slot corner.
Dude, Moss is boo-boo garbage. Every single time they throw his way, it's a penalty waiting to happen. All right, let's talk about Thursday Night Football tonight. Actually, I think it's going to be a pretty good game. The Houston Texans have a very, very good defense. They got quarterback issues, but Davis Mills is going to be the starter once again today. D'Amico Ryans, I happen to think, is a very good game planner. We'll see what kind of situations he schemes up for the Buffalo offense that's going to be going against him. Buffalo hasn't quite looked right all year. It's been a lot of moving parts. They didn't make a trade at the deadline to bring in a wide receiver, excuse me, which they desperately needed. But Josh Allen, seems like last week Josh Allen decided, all right, screw this. We're just going to put it on my back and see how it goes. And that's easy to do in a game against the Buccaneers, who also have a quarterback with the exact same mentality in Baker Mayfield. And you can make it kind of a duel. Tonight's going to be much more of it's going to have to be mathematical Josh Allen, because you're going up against a very calculated defensive play caller in D'Amico Ryans. I'm curious to see what Josh Allen we see tonight. Do we see the guy who has matured over the last couple of years and learned how to take the dump off passes and run smartly? Or do we see the gunslinger who's throwing awful interceptions a week ago while also having one of the best games of the NFL season? I prefer the latter. That's a lot more fun to watch, but I'm curious which Josh Allen we get tonight.
The Bills are tough to figure out because they look really good against the Chiefs. They look good last week against the Bucs, and then they have puzzling losses to the Falcons in Miami, where they don't even look like themselves. Like they look like two completely different teams. And to your point about Josh Allen, James Cook carrying everything, we know they can do that. This team in the playoffs can beat anyone. Like on any given Sunday, Josh Allen could have 6 touchdowns, and there's just really not much you can do with that unless you have Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. You're kind of screwed. Like, who can match it? You're not going to be able to have that. The problem in the playoffs, though, and we've seen this, and especially because they're going to be playing 4 games, they're not going to have the number 1 seed in all likelihood. Over 4 games to win a Super Bowl, you can't do that. It can't be Josh Allen by himself. This is why, despite the playoff losses to the Chiefs, I put a lot of the blame not on Josh Allen, on Sean McDermott. Like, I'm surprised that Sean McDermott still has a job with the amount of talent that's on this Buffalo Bills roster. Tonight, though, I'm curious to see the Buffalo Bills defense, because they've been up and down. Again, they were fantastic against the Chiefs, shut down the Chiefs offense. But then you look at it against Miami, and they're giving up just bombs to Jalen Waddle. Last week to the Bucs, they didn't look very good. The defense gave up a ton of points. Now, it is a good offense, but what's the calling card of the defense? Is it Ed Oliver? Is it, Matt Milano being back? It's just kind of a group of guys. Joey Bosa, the emergence of him has really been good for them, but they've also taken advantage of some tough right tackle situations. So tonight, interesting. To your point, I'm curious if Josh Allen, who's going to step up, who's going to be the receiver that helps Josh Allen and becomes his number 1 moving forward.
We need to see a game from Keon Coleman where he dominates. It seems like he's too athletically gifted not to be a number 1 wide receiver, and it feels like Buffalo has a certain amount of faith in him because they didn't make a trade at the trade deadline. But is he ever going to jump out of the shell and be that guy? Big congratulations go out to Rob and Marty, who won tickets on the show today. If you missed out on it, John and Jim are also going to have some SeaWorld tickets to give away later on today. Now, before we get out of here and make some picks in our final segment of the show, Sammy, are you a big Black Friday guy? You go shopping?
Yeah, I love me some Black Friday.
Walmart has a 100-inch TV on sale for $1,000 on Black Friday this year. And
Is it good picture or is it one of those just a large TV? It's crap picture.
I mean, it's going from like $1,400 down to $1,000 for Black Friday.
So it's not a 4K television.
No, it's one of those TCL smart TVs.
Okay.
Which I've had in the past and they work fine, but it's 100 inches. I kind of feel like I should buy it.
Listen, I don't know what budget we're working with over there.
$1,000. Which is
how many TVs do you have in the house?
Well, we only have one big TV in the house.
Okay, so why don't you sell that one? Go one-time purchase because you're going to have your TV for the next 10 years, 10, 15 years.
Ideally, yeah. I do think, I don't know what my wife would be more angry about, me spending $1,000 on a TV or having a 100-inch TV in the house. I'd say it's even money at this point.
But I would say sell your TV now, get something for it, and then go like spend the $3,000 to get the 100-inch 4K OLED, 8K, all that stuff. Get the TV that you're going to be like, wow.
Probably a lot more than $3,000. I would guess.
I think an 8K goes for $3K now because the 4K because 8K came out is now lower price.
Gotcha. We do have like one really, really nice TV that's like 60 inches. That one's in the bedroom. Then we have our 75-incher out in the living room, which is not as nice. But the picture's way better on the bedroom TV than the living room TV, which I always feel like should be flip-flop. But if we put the big TV in the bedroom, then we're blinded all night.
Are you a go out Thanksgiving night, or you get up Friday morning on Black Friday, go out to shop?
I will be up Friday morning to come to work. So no, I don't think I'm going to be able to do the shopping this year. Might have to be a like store side pickup or something.
Black Friday though is kind of not really a thing anymore. It's really like the deals start
Cyber Monday.
Right. The deals start on like on Monday of next week.
Yeah. We're cruising, man. We are headlong into Thanksgiving season already.
Thanksgiving is a week from today.
A week from today. We got 3 great football games on Thanksgiving. We got a nooner on the Friday. San Diego State plays at 12:30 on Friday. We got a busy couple of weeks coming up here, Sammy, right here on San Diego Sports 760. Coming up next, we make our picks for tonight's game. We'll run through Sammy's long shots as well. That's next, live on the iHeartRadio app. For our final time today, it's San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John and Jim take over then. Our buddy A-Ban on YouTube saying Joe Gibbs is an all-time great coach without a great quarterback. 3 Super Bowl wins with 3 different quarterbacks, no greats. Joe Theismann's a great. What did you say? I mean, his career ended in not great fashion, but Joe Theismann is a great.
Yeah, he's a great. I mean, not like a top quarterback of all time, but he's a great.
Right. Doug Williams, Mark Rippon also. So, I mean, yeah, you're probably right. Hey, man, good call. And the O-Siders, Bo Nix played last year in the postseason versus the Bills.
That's very true. He had the one bomb to Troy Franklin at the beginning of the game, and then they got smacked. But Denver wasn't really they were really outmatched by that Buffalo team.
Yeah. We'll see. Denver's going to be in the postseason this year, and they're going to have expectations, which is going to be a problem for them. I have a feeling.
The one thing they have going for them is that they have a solid team, but it's freezing.
Close games all year too. That benefits you for the postseason, where pretty much every game is going to be a close game.
Yes, and they're playing in Denver. It's going to be freezing cold in January. It's a tough place to play.
Unless you're the Chiefs in the Super Bowl against the Eagles, then it's not a close game.
I'm just telling.
It's a blowout.
Listen, let Denver talk.
If you missed it earlier in the show today, and we'll get to some picks for tonight's game, but I actually had a travel agent buddy reach out to me and say, "Hey, give Sammy my number because I just got some great deals on some Cancun hotels for the first week of the postseason in the NFL." Sammy, if you want to go meet Patrick Mahomes, you got like a 1 in 15 chance.
Hey, keep that same energy when a week from tomorrow, when the Chiefs have beaten the Colts and the Cowboys, keep that same energy when that happens.
Seriously, what is your mode Monday morning if the Chiefs lose to the Colts?
Well, it's
if they lose, what's the percentage chance?
36%. If they lose to the Colts, it's serious panic time. If they no BS. If they lose to the Colts and they're 5-6, because then to make the playoffs, they would have to win the final 6 games. Like in all likelihood, looking at the schedules of other teams, if they lose Sunday, it's for real panic time. I'm not panicking yet.
What's the wiggle room right now? Like, do they need to win out? Even if they do win out, they might not make the postseason.
Looking at schedules of the other teams, if they go 6-1, they're in the playoffs. And you look at they play the Titans in there, they play the Raiders in there, play a couple teams, but hey, they got a tough schedule. They got to go prove it.
Imagine if the Las Vegas Raiders beat the Chiefs to knock you out of playoff contention.
Well, you know what's crazy? Statistically, they were actually going like DVOA and all these adjusted stats. The Chiefs team this year is much better than last year. Like it's not even close.
The difference between this year and last year the Chiefs were they 11-0 in one possession games? Yeah. This year they're 0-5, 0-6 now.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
0-5. They only have 5 losses.
0-5.
But it's a big week. I've already had. I hope my mom's not listening right now. We've already had a few arguments. So they're playing on Thanksgiving. All right,
the Chiefs are
playing the Cowboys, and so we have family coming in from.
Isn't that the middle game too?
It's the middle game.
So that's smack dab in the middle of the day. That's when people were sitting down eating Thanksgiving dinner.
So we've already had an argument because I was like, "Hey, we need to back up dinner to after the game." And so we've had going back and forth on that a little bit. And then we have family coming in from the Midwest. And my dad and I, when we watch games, it's very loud. There's a lot of words that we cannot say on the radio flying around.
Like for fluffle.
Right, exactly. And so she's already talked to me about my language around my grandparents. I was like, listen, if the Chiefs aren't going to tackle, I can't control what comes out of my mouth. So Thanksgiving could be really good or really bad if they blow this game.
Mrs. Long, I give you permission to ground Sammy. How about that? There we go. So Sammy might not even be at work the day after Thanksgiving.
Honestly, grounding would be fine, but if they took away turkey or leftovers, that would be a problem.
So I'm so glad. Our new Thanksgiving tradition in my house, and there's a big golf tournament that I miss most years up in Merced, where my family's from, because I just have work. Like the Aztecs play.
They play on Thanksgiving.
The day after Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. Too. That's a cool tradition.
So, but the golf tournament's also the day after Thanksgiving. So I'm bummed I have to miss that. But on years where I don't go up to Merced for Thanksgiving, it's just my father-in-law comes to San Diego and it's just me, Kendall, and my father-in-law. My father-in-law is as big a football nut as I am.
Okay.
So all we do Thanksgiving Day is we eat amazing food that we all cook together. And then as soon as the first game kicks off, we start drinking.
See,
it's a good day, man.
See, that's what I appreciate, because my extended family are not big sports fans.
Oh,
So they don't understand. I'm like, no. We're not watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade over the morning game of Lions Vikings.
we got to make some picks, Sammy. We're almost out of here. So what? The line I'm seeing is all the way up to 6.5. Bills favored.
And the Bills opened as only 3.5-point favorites. So they have moved this line 2 to 3 points.
Oof.
The betting public has moved the line.
I don't think I like 6.5. I'll be honest. I'm much more okay with 3.5. So I might go Houston if it's 6.5.
I'm going to go under 44.5. I think 21-17 Bills.
Wow. Okay.
I think it's a tight game. I think it's actually a really good game tonight.
D'Amico Ryans keeps it close. So
Defense is too good to let this thing out of hand. And Davis Mills has been better than people give him
you're
credit
going
for.
Bills under?
Bills under 21-17 Bills.
I think I'm going to go Texans over. I don't know though. I don't want to.
We got to make a pick. We got 5 seconds.
Texans under. There it is. Final score. Say 21. What'd you say? 21-17?
21-17.
I can't do the same thing. Yeah, but I am 21-17.
Wow.
Texans.
Copying my pick.
All right, I'm out of here. Big Rich, TD and Fletch is on in the morning tomorrow. So listen to that. This is the Fletch Zone and Fletcher, Sammy Long, John and Jim are next.